So last week, India Today Group hosted the 20th edition of the India Today Conclave in Delhi. And in that conference, they highlighted the challenges and opportunities which India faces today and how India is moving forward despite the massive challenges. In the address there, Prime Minister Narendra Modi listed some of the biggest achievements of the country in the first 75 days of this year.
2023 के 75 दिन हुए हैं। मैं उन 75 डेज की ही बात आज करना चाहता हूं। इन 75 दिनों में देश का ऐतिहासिक ग्रीन बजट आया। इन 75 दिनों में कर्नाटका के शिवमोगा में एयरपोर्ट का लोकार्पण हुआ। इन 75 दिनों में मुंबई में मेट्रो रेल का अगला फेज शुरू हुआ। इन 75 दिनों में देश में दुनिया का सबसे लंबा रिवर क्रूज चला। बेंगलुरु मैसूरू एक्सप्रेस वे शुरू हुआ। दिल्ली मुंबई एक्सप्रेसवे का एक सेक्शन शुरू किया गया। मुंबई से विशाखापट्टनम से वंदे भारत ट्रेनें चलनी शुरू हुई।
Yeah. So a lot has happened in just 75 days of the year.
Yeah, see, my friend Harsh Madhusudan makes this point often, right? I mean, the amount of hard infrastructure, right? He calls this part of the Modinomics plan, right? That India is building is just phenomenal, right? And I keep saying this, irrespective of what side of the political aisle you are on, India is just a fascinating place to be at this point of time because we're rapidly modernizing, rapidly developing on multiple different facets, you know, whether it's healthcare, infrastructure, road infrastructure, highways, even on the technology front as such, right? And yeah, I mean, I was just stunned that Prime Minister Modi was able to, you know, rattle off all of these things impromptu, right? It's just fantastic stuff. I mean, again, he's a fantastic orator, you know.
Yeah. I mean, he has his whole charisma and he just kind of brings things together. And also last week, I mean, I was traveling outside India and you have no idea how much I missed UPI. I had completely lost the habit of going to an ATM and withdrawing cash and keeping it in the wallet. I think the entire Southeast Asia region is going to benefit so much once UPI is exported and we see adoption increase.
Speaking of adoption, look at the Vande Bharat trains as well. I think they are also increasing in adoption. Recently, you know, Krishna came down from Chennai to Bangalore. It was just 1,000 rupee ticket and, you know, he was woken up in the morning with tea and breakfast, right? No, that's the kind of service that, you know, we are not used to. Fantastic stuff. You know, people often say that, hey, Vande Bharat trains are not that fast or whatever. Sure, I mean, you know, Chennai to Bangalore, I think he made it here in 5 hours or so, which is probably an hour lesser than usual. But still, I think the bigger story is the fact that, you know, there are 200 plus of these trains that are going to be launched. So they're going to definitely improve mobility.
Yeah, and also, folks, if you're enjoying this conversation, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more regular updates on the startup ecosystem. And if you're a returning listener, please do rate and review this episode on your favorite podcast platform. Well, but last week was especially tough for founders and investors in India, right? As an aftermath of the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. Since then, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who is the Minister of State for Electronics and Information Technology, has reported that since last week, Indian startups have already moved around $200 million to banks in the GIFT City, which is the financial hub in Gujarat, which has easier for compliance norms. The IFSC banking units in this area has experienced teams as mandated by the law there, has great infrastructure and also an experience in dealing with offshore markets, right? And as you mentioned earlier, more than 20% of money has already been moved. I think this is a whole newfound respect for the Indian banking system.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, see, there are a lot of positives about the Indian banking system. We sort of were really robust during the 2008-2009 financial crisis as well. And, you know, the GIFT City or IFSC in particular, IFSC is the International Financial Services Center, was created specifically to access foreign capital. And we've seen that, you know, being useful now, right? I mean, over $200 million moved into these accounts. To be fair, I mean, these might very well move out as well. But it's a great hedge for Indian entrepreneurs, you know. I mean, the regulatory norms are set up in a way like, you know, this could be London or a Singapore or even a Hong Kong, right? Make this sort of one of those international financial centers as such. Of course, I mean, we have quite a way to go, but this is great. I mean, this was a very good, useful hedge for Indian entrepreneurs. And yeah, thankfully, you know, entrepreneurs have been able to access capital in SVB SVB as well. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think all's well that ends well.
Well, of course, it's good, and I think it's a great step. But if you zoom out a little bit, this is just 20% of the entire money which was there in the bank, right? And some of the reasons which are cited for not bringing back the money is, of course, is the uncertainty around the regulations, right? And secondly, to transfer money from Silicon Valley Bank to India requires a lot of dependency on SWIFT, which has been bogged down by time-consuming compliance measures, and it's just cheaper to move money within the US from SVB Bank to another.
Yes, that's true. And also, I think after the FDIC came in, SVB became the safest place to put your money in, right? Man, I mean, there's a whole showdown happening between Nassim Taleb and Balaji Srinivasan on Twitter, right? And, I mean, I think both of them are like some of the smartest people on the internet in the world right now. Both of them approaching, from very different aspects. Of course, Balaji comes from the technology world and Nassim Taleb comes from the finance world. And it's amazing, right? I mean, this whole battle of wits, and both of them don't hold back either. Balaji has this whole bet that Bitcoin will go to $1 million in 3 months. Now, I'm not sure about that, but...
So you're not going to buy Bitcoins right now?
I'm not a crypto enthusiast as much. At least I don't buy and trade these cryptocurrencies as such. But this is fantastic, right? I mean, this is stuff like my friend Nirav says, would happen in cocktail parties and a few people would watch this. All of this is happening in live public view, right? I mean, for all of us to witness. So let us know on, what side of this debate you are, whether the Taleb side or the Balaji side. I mean, that could be interesting for us to hear about.